Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's been quite a while since I've recorded a recap. I had a couple like live trades I posted, but it's been since October was my last recap. And so in this video, I'm gonna get you all up to speed on my journey. It's been a huge, a lot of transformations happening each of these months, and it's been a long, exhausting mental battle. And there's been lots of swings, and there's been a lot of changing, and also just finding myself and what I'm gonna do for the next forever. Really, just what am I gonna do? What kind of trader am I gonna be? So we're gonna get into all that. The title is New Year, New Me because I did change quite a lot for the better, as you can see from my January equity curve. So, yeah, I just put up the equity curves here to show you kind of what happened. November, I didn't take that many trades because I was transferring to Cobra, getting over PT, which has been the biggest impact, really. Just being able to take more trades. I'm actually reading Atomic Habits by James Clear right now, which is a great book. And in that book, it talks about quantity over quality. And this is an important thing because he talks about how, most people would think, if you take your time to learn, take a year to learn, you try to get the best quality out of your trades. To a certain extent, that's good, but quality is really what's going to get you better at trading. Quantity is what's going to get you better at trading. Just getting the reps in. The more reps you get in, the faster you're going to learn. And so I resonate with this a lot. So finally getting over PT was a huge thing for me. I'm able to not worry about limited amount of trades. I can trade as I want, and it's the best thing. And yeah, so November, like I said, little amount of trades. December was a big month. I had my biggest parabolic move, and then I had my biggest drawdown. It was completely unexpected. I'll talk about that in a second. January, best month ever R-wise, not dollar-wise because I sized down a lot, like 70% after my drawdown. So we'll talk about all that. Let's get right into the next slide. So, November stats and process. Let me first read my approach. So my approach in November, I would recommend after this you go watch the October recap because you'll see kind of like what my mindset was before this. November was a lot of the same thing. So I was focused on the MIC process, which is generally high probability, low risk reward scalps off of VWAP and resistance lines. That's basically what it is. Your entries include a lot of scaling, and you have a pretty wide risk. And exits were very quick, nail and bail, which is high probability. And I had one major problem. Well, I had a lot of problems, to be honest. And we're going to talk about that in December because I discover another big problem. So the problem I discovered in November was shorting under VWAP. So from this, I discovered this after I made a new strategy on finding what I'm losing with. So simply get a list. One column has your winners, one column has your losers. All you do is type in what you were doing on the trade and what the setup was. So I have a list of all my winners, which were like shorting resistance lines, shorting this with a tight stop, shorting like just explaining the trade like really quickly. And I noticed on the losing column, like a lot of the losses were shorting under view up when it's not deviated. When it's not deviated, meaning it's very close to view up. So I'm short basically in short, I'm shorting the low of the range and I'm getting squeezed. That was my biggest problem, and I discovered that at the end of November. So I come into December with a new mindset and new like process. But quickly, we'll go over my stats. You can see average winning trade 0.25R, average losing trade 0.5R. About, I'm just rounding. So I'm getting like literally 1 to zero point 0.5 risk reward, which is absolutely horrible. And you can see why that's unprofitable pretty much. Yeah, my win rate is fairly good, 76%, but I'm losing, which is crazy. And also I don't know why all my trades were under 1R. I don't understand. I think it's because I never like took a full loss. I always cut before the full loss happened. And also, I'm never gonna make more than 1R because my risk reward sucks on every trade. So I think that's the explanation, and that's the same case in December, and we'll see that right now. Actually, not right now. We're gonna go over some of the trades. So my main November trades. This is kind of like what they looked like. You could see I was shorting under VWAP, and they did work. The VWAP shorts when it was deviated. So when shorts were getting squeezed out on the push to VWAP, and when it actually had to extend to get to VWAP. But you could see down here, SPI, this middle bottom one. I'm shorting the low of the range. It's not that deviated. The stock's, bouncing through VWAP. It's not really weak. So it just goes right through me and I get squeezed. And look, it rejected the outer lines perfectly, had a full fade down, 100% retracement. So a lot of my problems was just, it was super scalpy. My reward was very small. And then when I lost, it was half or full size. So it was just unprofitable. I mean, no, actually, it was profitable, but we're going to find out really soon what happens when you start taking 1R losses. Because they're inevitable. If you're risking 1R per trade, eventually you should be hitting that 1R every time. And we're gonna see that. So December, I have the same risk reward, pretty much 1 to 0.5 risk reward. You can see my gain actually is better. My largest gain, it's not even over 2R, which is it's crazy. Now that I have a high risk reward mindset, which we're gonna talk about later. But you can see my largest loss, 1.7R. That doesn't seem like that much, but you see this drawdown. This drawdown was what about 6R, 6R of a drawdown. That's not that much, right? Wrong. For me, since my gains were 0.25, 0.3R, my equity curve was uptrending because my losses were small too. But once I started taking 1R losses, which is what I risk per trade, which should happen, I started drawing down massively. And I realized, oh my gosh, like even though I'm winning 70% of the time, and then now 60 in this month, like once the risk reward drops a little bit, I'm taking this massive drawdown. There's a huge flaw in my process. And it's just, so my approach was, I realized I kept getting stopped out from shorting the lows, like I said last month. So I fixed that mistake in December, which caused the parabolic in my equity curve. You could see in the first half of December, I was performing at all-time best. I was very happy. I was confident. I felt like I knew what I was doing. But then I took 1R loss, and then I took another 1R loss, and then I took another 1R loss, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is a huge pullback, and I'm only down 3R. There's a huge flaw in my system. And I say here, however, one major problem remained: low risk reward, and this cause was unexpected. Like I was like, oh shoot, there's a flaw in my system. I need to change something. And actually, I'm gonna go back real quick. You could see my average hold time as we go through the months. It gets longer and longer. MIC teaches nail and bail, which is high win rate, which is good for beginners because you're not gonna blow up. It's safe, but it's not the most profitable. So I started holding longer. So you can see that here, my average win and my average holding time in general went up, but you're gonna see in January it went up quite a lot. But we're gonna talk about that. So these are some of my December trades. Like I said, I was going for outer lines now, so I was not getting squeezed as much. I wasn't getting squeezed that much. So EFOI, I was shorting into the strength. I was shorting into the short stopping out, and this is key. So these are some of my trades. I had my biggest P&L trade ever here, and the sad thing is, it was like 1.3R, which isn't that much. That my biggest trade ever is 1.3R. That does not make sense. Sead was a solid trade, but you could see this is the trade I really liked. Like actually holding for like a bigger move, a bigger fade down, and this desire to keep doing that more and more allowed me to change for January. Oh, I got a laser on here for some reason. Okay. But still one problem remained. That was my low risk reward. And this was caused purely by scaling. And so what I did in January was eliminated scaling. So instead, I picked 2 bullets, a tight stop above, and that's what I did. And I'm not going to explain too much more about my system on outer lines because, you don't want to reveal your edge. That's the whole point of an edge. But that's what I'll tell you. Like personally, scaling just not doesn't fit me. I can't deal with the low risk reward. I'm unprofitable with it. So 2022, new year, new me. The goal, I'm these are my resolutions. The goal is to get at least 1 to 2 risk reward. So that means I'm losing 1 R per trade. That means I'm winning at least 2 R per trade. And my goal is to not worry about win rate. Because if you get good risk reward, you don't need to worry about your win rate. You could have a 30% win rate with 1 to 3 risk reward, and you could be profitable. And I say right here, like I said, it's very hard to be profitable with low risk reward and high win rate, because the second your win rate drops a little bit, you're going to be unprofitable. And with high risk reward, it's much easier to be profitable because, you can lose a lot more. You can make mistakes, and you're like, okay, it's fine. My next gain is going to be 3, 4, 5 R. It's going to cover all the losses, all the mistakes. So there's a lot more room for failure. And also, people don't talk about the fees and commissions that are associated. And with scalping, the fees add up a lot, especially if you're trading smaller size. So capturing a bigger part of the move, going for higher risk reward, is going to help you with the fees as well. It's not going to eat up all your profits, which I've learned. And actually, I have a very, very huge thing to talk about after I explain the January stats. So January is, of course, not over yet. It's the 21st when I'm recording this. Probably going to upload it right after because I'm not going to do any editing or anything. But, okay, so you could see my approach. Focus on high risk reward, not win rate. And the way things played out, I changed my entire approach from discretionary to systematized. And my main system is for ADF, all day faders. And this is what I know, but I've known this system for like 6 months, but I have never traded it. I'm not sure why. I think it's because discretionary trading is so appealing. It looks so cool, like shorting the top of the range, covering like the washes, like it looks so cool. But for me personally, it's just for now, it's not good. Like I need to be systematized. I need to be following the same process every day instead of discretionary where I was doing a lot of different things. I was kind of all over the place, like, oh, how should I short? How should I do this? A system that I have heavily back tested, which I'll talk about in a second, is the way to go for me personally right now. So you could see huge, huge, huge difference from December, November to January. So I'm gonna go back. December and November were the same thing. Average winning trade 0.3R. Average losing trade 0.65R. January. Average winning trade 1.6R. Average losing trade 0.95R. No, I didn't hit my 1 to 2 risk reward, but it's a huge improvement. And instantly, I have my best month ever. You can see my largest gain, almost 3R. Yeah, it's hard to push past 3R in my opinion if you're not adding to a winner. And I have not implemented adding to a winner into my system yet. It's something I'm planning on doing very soon. But first, I want to be able to nail the first entry. I want to be able to nail the exit. And then I can start adding to winners because I want to have a solid foundation before I start trying all this stuff. So you could see my win rate. It's just as bad. It's not bad. 50%. Actually, something I discovered was that most of the best traders have anywhere from a 40 to 60% win rate. It's not anything crazy like 70, 80, 90%. So 50% is really good, especially if you're getting good risk reward. So it's my win rate isn't that much different from December, but I'm wildly more profitable. I'm up about 12R this month. That's not net. Net, it is a little more because I sized down quite a lot after my drawdown. So dollar-wise, I've not recovered fully. But R-wise, gross-wise, I've recovered way more. And I have parabolic past break-even. And that's what to focus on, especially when using small size. Also, another thing to see is that look at my average hold time, 3 hours. Um, like I said, that moved up a lot. Also, like I said before, you can make a lot of mistakes with high risk reward. Just yesterday, I took a 4 hour loss, and look, it's just a pullback on the equity curve. Um, yeah, so it honestly, it's been great. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of struggles in the future, but let me talk about something after I show you guys my trades. This is kind of what it looks like. I'm not gonna explain too much of it because again, it's my edge. I'm not gonna just tell you guys my edge. That would ruin the point of it. But you can look at these charts. I also post everything on Twitter. Post all my charts, so I recommend you follow Zander_Odom. But yeah, these are my trades. So ending talking points. We're probably gonna be here for a second. System of improvement. So I have a whole new system for improving to keep myself in check and to make sure I'm not rushing things because I have a tendency of doing that. So it's called I just say back test, then forward test, then refine. So back testing, let me talk about that a lot. I've been getting a lot of questions on back testing in Twitter, and maybe in another video I'll show you how to back test. But basically, I know my criteria of my system. I know my entry signal. I know my exit signal, and I know my risk level. So what I do is I have all the previous charts captured. So I just go back and I look. I overlay my system on that chart, on that previous chart, and in an Excel, I say, okay, would I trade this? If yes, okay, yes, I would have traded it. Let me put in where would I have entered. I put in the entry price. I put in my risk price. I would put in my exit price, and I see what my R result is. And I see my win rate over time tracking multiple tickers and multiple setups. So as of right now, I have about 350 samples of my system going all the way back to April. Actually, no, it's August. Going back to August, I still have a ways to go. But at 350 samples, that's a lot. And I now know that with my current system, if I follow it 100%, I am going to be profitable. If I follow it 100%. Just today, I broke the system. So today was an instant reminder, and it was so emotional because it happened so quick. I broke it, and then 5 seconds later, I was stopped out. So it was just a slap in the face. Like, what are you doing? Why are you breaking your system? This is what happens when you break your system. You're not going to be profitable. So, but basically, going back to the back testing, if you back test and you see that you have a large edge with your system and your edge is easy to execute, which mine pretty much is, you can replicate it and you can get similar stats by forward testing. So back test, determine your edge, realize, okay, yes, I have a strong edge here. You gain a lot of confidence with back testing. Now you forward test. And I'm not even anywhere close to completing this forward test. I would say the forward test is around 1 to 2 quarters, so 3 to 6 months, to see like, okay, are my stats matching my back test stats? I wouldn't rush it and say like in 1 month, oh, my forward test stats aren't matching my back test, because market cycles are random. You want to give it enough sample size to be like, okay, this is my long-term edge and it's matching my back test. This means I'm good and it's time, okay, I can refine. I've got a solid foundation now. I can refine. How can I grow my system? How can I improve it? For me right now, I have my entry, I have my risk, I have my exit. I'm going to trade this. And then in about 3 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I'm going to be like, okay, how can I start adding to winners? How much will this increase my risk reward? How much will lower my win rate? And like I said, once I refine, I back test that refine. And then if that is even more profitable, then I forward test it another 3 months. But if I refine, back test it, find, okay, it's worse off, I have to go back to refine. But it's good that you don't rush this process, because as long as you have a foundation, you're making money even while refining. So it's a long process, but my main goal is not to rush it. Right now, I have a very profitable system. It's up 200R since August, which is crazy if I executed 100%. And, you know, if I just stick with it, I'm going to be profitable. I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to be able to refine, and I'm going to be able to improve. Now, you can't really do this with discretionary. You can, but it's harder to improve because you don't have a set criteria, set entry signal. So with discretionary trading, it's all about screen time, learning what works, what doesn't, just making a lot of mistakes and not doing them again. And that's why right now, system for me is better than discretionary trading. So my next bullet point is focusing on 1 to 2 systems. Every trader says this, but it's the truth. My biggest fear in trading is getting stuck system hopping, which is what I've been doing since I started. Trying one thing for about 2, 3, 4 weeks. At first, it's going pretty well. Then you have some hardships. You have some struggles, and you say, "Oh, this isn't gonna work." And then you look at, "Oh, this other guy's making money using this system. Let me try it out." And it's an endless cycle, and you constantly feel like you're at crossroads. So focusing on this system that I know is profitable is going to be the best for me. Now, I do have a second system, like I mentioned earlier, which is the outer line system, where I now short 2 lines, and then I have a tight stop over them. So now instead of scaling, where I have, let's say the first bullet hits when you're scaling, you're only a small percentage of your max size, and you have a wide risk. But now with my 2 lines, I short, I stop, and then I reshort that higher line, and I stop. This time, this makes it so that I am full size all the time, and I have good risk reward all the time because of my tight stop. So it's a really great system that I have going, and I haven't back tested it too much. I have tracked it a lot, and I've gained confidence that way. But I'm going to start back testing that next, so I can gain confidence. And if I can just get these 2 systems down, I can grow my account. I can finally start growing my account. Now, future complications. Every day since I switched to a system, I have a temptation to return to my previous style of discretionary trading, especially because I follow a couple traders on Twitter that I've talked to a lot and that I previously talked to a lot because I was learning a lot from them. And it's just a constant temptation, especially when my system's not performing like I want it to. I'm like, oh, I bet I could perform good at this type of trading. But I just have to stick with the system. I can't deviate. And if I do, I just need to know that I'm going to be unprofitable until I stick to one thing. That's just the reality of it. Now, finally, timeline outlook, how long I think what I think the future holds. Like I said, my new system of improvement is backtest, forward test, refine. I think the backtest only took me like 2 to 4 weeks, and all the while I am trading it and forward testing. But the forward test I'm gonna give about 2 to 3 to 4 months, and every month I'm gonna check. Okay, how's it performing? Am I matching my backtest? Am I overperforming? Am I underperforming? And then I'm just going to make sure, okay, am I still following my original system? I'm just going to keep constantly reminding. And then I'm going to eventually implement adding to winners, which will increase my net R by a lot. That'll be the biggest improvement ever. And I may, it's not going to be rushing, but I may add the adding to winners within a month or 2, because as long as I get the back test, it's going to be good. But yeah, that's the system improvement. But back to the timeline, I think in 6 months, I will have a solid foundation. That's my goal. Solid foundation, profitable, solid foundation. And then I think 6 months after that, I'll spend really working hard to refine that foundation. And I think my year 3 of my journey, or 2023, I think that'll be the parabolic year. That's my goals. Parabolic, I don't have a dollar amount, but I just think that's really when my system is I'm just gonna be executing. I'm just gonna be exploiting my edge. I'm just gonna be exploiting. It's basically a money printer once you have your system down. And that's the goal. 2023, have this system heavily refined. Of course, you're never gonna get perfection, but I want to get as close as I want to constantly just push to perfection. How much can I maximize my exit? How much can I maximize my entry, risk reward, win rate, everything. So I would say within 2 years, I think I want to be like the successful trader I dream about. So that was that. I think this was an amazing recap. And I mainly make this for myself, to be honest. I want to keep track of my journey because I want to know, am I growing? How much did I grow? If I go watch my October recap, trust me, I think I will notice a huge difference in myself as a trader from right now to me back then. And just between these 3 months, you can see how much I grew. The monetary account didn't grow, but P&L is a lagging indicator. Harry Haas said that from MIC. That's a great saying. Your P&L is a lagging indicator, so your learning curve, you're gonna learn, but you're not gonna grow until things start clicking together. You need your systems, whether you're discretionary or not. Everything needs to just come together. Things will start clicking. You'll make less mistakes. You'll get better risk reward. You'll get better win rate. That's what happens. So at this point, I'm getting really tired. Be sure to drop a like and follow me on Twitter because I post there every day. If you want to follow my trading, yeah. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments or even in Twitter DMs. My broker is Cobra. There you go. You don't have to ask. But yeah, I hope you all have a good month. I hope you all are improving every day. Focus on that, improving. As long as you're improving and staying alive, that's all that matters. All right. I will see you all later. Peace out.